Simplified Chaos, episode 158.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Everybody, welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? We hope you all are having an amazing week. We've got another great episode here for you today. Jilly, what are we going to talk about?
I mean, it's going to be like a hodgepodge of like an everything bagel episode, but also how when one door closes, a window cracks.
A window cracks. Ebbing and flowing. All kinds of crazy stuff going to happen today.
Yeah, it's exciting. I love these kinds.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been, we missed last week, and so we're coming to you this week. A lot's happened in the last 2 weeks here, so a lot of lessons learned, a lot of things to share. But before we dive into that, as always, we love to show some gratitude. So, Jilly, what are you grateful for this week?
I am grateful for our bedtime routine.
Yeah.
It is
it's in full effect.
It has remained a constant that we go with her to bed, and we may have a story, sometimes we may not, depends. We've been getting back into the routine of reading like library books before bed, which has been nice. And then we go over Lucille's day, which is usually my role, just going over what she did during the day, trying to remember all the little tiny details. And it's nice because you get to hear it as well.
Yeah.
And also, when we're done, Nick tells the three little bears over.
It's Goldilocks and the three bears, but Lucille mixes that up with the three little pigs, and so she calls it the three little bears. I love it.
And every time you would ask her, like, okay, what are they cooking, Lucille? Because, first it was like, porridge, then it became oatmeal, and then she would pick. But like tonight, you kind of took over, and the three little bears or the three little pigs were eating slow cooked beef brisket, much like we had tonight for dinner.
Exactly.
And it's so cute the way you like familiarize it and kind of like add our life into the story. And I was just chuckling inside listening to you talk about how like they put the beef in the crock pot and they put it on low and they went for a family walk in the forest.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I love this.
Trying to make it as real as possible.
I know. I love how
keeps it fresh too.
You just personalize it, and there are these tiny little tweaks and nuances every time you read the same story over and over again. So I'm just grateful for our routine and that we get to do it together and see how that kind of ebbs and flows as she gets older. So
yeah, no, I love it, and I do like sometimes she'll call out what they're cooking, and then other times I'm just trying to incorporate what we're doing, so it doesn't take too much imagination. I just try to like infuse a lot of the real things that we do, and it's very similar story to what we do. We just don't have people breaking into our house and eating our food.
You're like, well, a normal person would not, but no, not her.
No,
she just
lets herself in and helps herself and breaks chairs and all kinds of crazy hell. Yeah,
it is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm just grateful for the routine and just seeing how it evolves, and I'm glad that I get to share it with you and we get to do it together.
Absolutely. Nah.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm grateful for pool season.
Pool
season has officially begun here in Charlottesville. It started on May 14th. So one of the cool things are we're still waiting to go into our pool. Actually, it's kind of cold, and they still haven't cleaned it out completely. There are still a lot of remnants from the winter at the bottom of the pool. So
yeah, not our personal pool.
Not our personal pool, it's the community pool. Yeah. So that's fine. They can take their time getting that open. But we have what they call splash pads or little splash parks around here, which are, at some of the city playgrounds, they have these splash parks, and basically it's just water obstacles and stuff like that. And it's just a fun time. So we went to our first one on opening weekend yesterday, which was Sunday. We pulled up and the heavens decided to open up. Literally, it rained 2 inches in 45 minutes. And so we sat it out, and kind of looking back on it, it was just like, we probably should have just taken our clothes off in the car and just got out and walked to the water park. There was actually two girls living their best lives in this heavy downpour in the water park, just having a great time. There were families under a pavilion, and they tried to wait it out as best as possible, but after like 25-30 minutes of just heavy rain, they were just like, fuck it, and got wet and were trying to get their cars all packed up. And, if they would have waited it out another 15-20 minutes, they could have been dry, but they were done. So, and I completely get it, but it was awesome just going to the water park, seeing her have a good time. One of the neighbors showed up. Actually, it's the kid that Jill nannies for during the week. So he got to see Lucille having fun. He wasn't quite feeling it quite yet, but it was awesome getting out there. And of course, I had to go in to the water park and wasn't going to let Lucille have all the fun. So Papa had some fun too. And yeah, so I am looking forward to a summer full of water season, pool season, you name it, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm excited because one of the things on like my summer bucket list is to do tubing down the Rivanna River.
Yeah,
which runs through Charlottesville. So I'm like, let's buy a couple tubes and get Lucille a life jacket and let's try it and see what happens. So
we were at speaking of life jackets, we were at an outdoor store the other day, and we were walking towards the back of the store, and what looked like a kid's life jacket was really for puppies.
Do they have kids' life jackets?
I did not see kids' life jackets back there. I'm sure we still need to get that because we also are inheriting a kayak that we're going to have to get some things for. We're going to have to get a roof mount to transport it places. But yes, life jackets are very important. So yes, we will be getting her one. But yeah, she was like, "Oh, this looks like a life jacket for me." I was like, "No, that's for dogs."
You should have had her put it on.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Oh, great.
So yeah, no, we're going to be adventuring on some water this summer. So very much looking forward to that. I'm happy that it's actually, back at home, it's usually Memorial Day when pools and stuff open, but we get 2 weeks early down here. So I'll take it.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. All right, Jilly. So lots happened in the last 2 weeks. We've had some ebbing and flowing that we're doing here, and I think there's a couple of things we want to talk about. But where did you want to start?
I mean, I just wanted to start off saying that, Nick really wanted to kind of go with the theme, which was fine, about just like how flowing with what life hands us has been so beautiful and has made our life so much happier when we kind of just let go and surrender and trust the process that whatever happens is happening for a reason. And there's a really great spiritual book that I'm reading now that they have a way of saying like there's no such things as good or bad. They're just life situations, which I like that perspective. And the life situation is there to teach you something, and it's there to pivot you in a direction that you're meant to be on, and not to look at anything as like, good or bad. And so yeah, there's been a lot of things that I can say didn't turn out the way we thought or planned, and we've kind of gone with the flow of what life is handing us, and it's turned out to unfold, and like some really magical things have happened. And and I don't know how much I talked about this on previous episodes, but as Nick alluded to, when I was looking for work, I was thinking like I was going to do this specific role, that it was going to be like working for a different company in the food industry. And I was like really excited about this because I was in contact with the person who was in charge of it. And I thought for sure this was like a done deal. Like I'm going to have some kind of position in this company. And then it turned out just to kind of fizzle out. And I was just like really bummed about it. I'm like, you know what? I was really excited about it, and I thought it was lining up to everything, but it didn't turn out, and that's okay. And then I wasn't looking for any kind of work. And then all of a sudden, one of our neighbors was like, "Hey, I'm really looking for someone to watch my son Andres. Would you be interested? It's only 3 days a week for 6 hours a day." And I was just like, hell yeah. Like, I think that would be such a great opportunity. He's right in the community. We have flexibility and still traveling and going to parks. Lucille gets a playmate. I get to see her role in that. And, I get to make some extra money as well and connect with a really great family in our community, which we're grateful that we're hosting them for dinner this week and getting to know them better. So it's just so wild when we start forcing plans that we thought were quote unquote supposed to be, and just letting it go, and then just realizing that there's something else coming our way that we have no idea what it is and what it looks like. It's unclear too, but the unknown is fucking magical, man.
And I think a lot of it, and we've talked about this in the past, is just like when the universe speaks to you, it's like, go right towards that. And like you said, you were looking for something, but you weren't really looking for something. Like the whole thing kind of fell through with the one company, and then all of a sudden it was just like they were walking, they asked you a question if you wanted to do that, and I don't even think you really hesitated. You're like, yes. Like, it speaks to you. You're an educator by trade. Like, that's what you went to school for. You were a teacher for 11 years, 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
So like, it's in you, and this is an opportunity for you to, you're teaching him too. Like, he's with you for 18 hours a week.
That was the only question I asked, was how many days, because I did know in my bones, like, I didn't want anything full-time again.
Right.
I wanted flexibility and like part-time-ish. So it just so happened, like, 3 days a week. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that's been a great thing, and like you said, we're building a great relationship with this family, and it's just awesome. So it's definitely one of those things that it called to you. You ran right towards it, and we're experiencing great things from it. Yeah. So I mean, one of the other things that has kind of blossomed into this beautiful thing over the last probably 48 to 72 hours is, there are things that are out of our control, and it's unfortunate, and we can choose to react certain ways around those things. So we had a trip that was scheduled for later this summer to go out to Oregon to visit some folks, and visit some what we quote unquote family. They're technically not our direct family, but they're family in a way, and we got to see them earlier this year. And we got some troubling news from Southwest Airlines that our 8-hour trip with one layover had turned into a 15-hour trip with 2 layovers. So when you really think about it, Richmond International Airport is about an hour from us. You have to get to the airport an hour and a half before the flight. And then you have to sit in the airport. And then when you land, finally, when you get to your destination, you have to pick up your luggage. You then have to go to the rental car place. And so that adds another 3 to 4 hours to the trip. So we were looking at a 19-hour trip to go from Richmond, Virginia to Portland, Oregon. I don't want to go on a 19-hour trip unless I'm going halfway around the world to like Japan or something like that. I mean, even Europe was an 8-hour trip for us. Mm-hmm. So just like one of those things where it's like, okay, and we looked for other flights. There was really only one flight out of Richmond, or one flight day that goes out of Richmond. And for now, like, Southwest kind of messed it up, but that's what they got to do. They're dealing with things, and I certainly get that. Other airlines are way more expensive, and more expensive than what we're willing to pay right now, especially since gas prices are up. And we weren't able to transfer to another airport. So, and actually the other airports were even more expensive. So it just, right now, it's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, the universe is telling us this isn't in the cards right now. And we totally get that. And we'd rather not force something or have just a completely horrible start to a trip that really kind of sets the tone. When you travel and it's just awful and it's the beginning leg of your trip, that could set the pace for the entire rest of the trip. So rather than trying to force something, we're like, okay, let's take a step back. Oregon isn't going anywhere. Our friends aren't going anywhere. We're just postponing the trip. We'll make our way out there. It's just not happening right now. So we're now trying to make other plans for the rest of the year. And we were able to get our refund from Southwest Airlines. I actually, instead of like going through the app, like we did the want to get away or whatever. And usually if you cancel your trip, they'll give you a credit. And I was like, well, they completely changed the flights. And let me just call them up, see if we can just get a refund, full refund on the credit card. And it was a great experience. The lady was super nice, explained the situation. She's like, you know what, we'll take care of it. No questions asked. And, was able to get the refund. So now we're kind of thinking other things that we can potentially do this year. But one of the things that was coming up is you and your mom are taking a ladies trip with your sister, and you were starting to look up an Airbnb, and you started going down a rabbit hole, didn't you, Jilly?
A little bit.
Yeah. What did you find out?
Oh, just so we're looking to have a little getaway. My sister is pregnant with her third child, and we wanted to have a getaway before baby comes, way before. And we were thinking of where Nick and I got married, Winchester, Virginia. It's close to our hearts, and it's not too far from both of us. So we thought, let's look there. There was some new Airbnbs that popped up, and I was super excited. And then the Airbnb I ended up booking, just for shits and giggles, I was just looking at her other properties. And I saw that she had the one property in Virginia, and then she has 3 properties in Costa Rica. And I was just like, that's interesting. And
Yeah.
I click on one of her properties and just reading the description, and it's talking about like the wildlife. There's like monkeys and
Sloths.
sea turtles and sloths in the trees. And the reviews from this place are like, they're so wild to like read what the lifestyle is like there, and just like the animal wildlife. And I'm just thinking, how rad would it be to go to some place where Nick can work from anywhere, to go there and stay for a long period of time and just explore a different area. And I don't know, like totally go for it.
Got the juices flowing. That was what I was going to say. Is like, we were just thinking, it was like, can we make this happen? And part of it was inspired. I follow this guy on Instagram. He calls himself the Carnivore MD 2.0. His name is Paul Saladino. He really is a doctor, and I've been just kind of following different people within this genre, just trying to learn how to eat more like our primitive ancestors. And he's been in Costa Rica for a while. You know, he lives in Texas, but he's been in Costa Rica, and I'm just like, yeah, what would it cost to rent a place in Costa Rica and work down there for a month, 3 months, or something along those lines? So we looked it up, and I mean, it's certainly within budget and certainly possible. So like, we're now like starting to plan this crazy adventure that it probably won't be this year, but you know, at some point next year, like, let's go to Costa Rica for 2 months, and you know, I can work down there. You and Lucille can explore. And, you know, then we can explore as a family, you know, after I get off work. It's only one time zone difference than where I'm at right now. So it's just like, we're now opening up to all these crazy possibilities of like, you know, hey, let's take this remote thing to another level and potentially look at another country. So I think we were talking today, we might want to test run that a little bit and maybe try a month somewhere, you know, before, you know, look domestically before we go somewhere internationally and do something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just this whole thing, you know, starting with us, you know, feeling a little bummed because we're not going to be able to go out to Oregon, but just kind of how we're reinvigorated by this whole new notion of like, hey, maybe we can, you know, take the 2 things that we like. You know, I love my job. I love what I do. It's really hard to step away for more than a week, you know, just because of things piling up. But you know, I've been able to travel and work from other places, but like, let's take that aspect. Let's take travel, which is fun for us as well, and let's mesh the 2 together.
Yeah. And I think the last time we were able to like daydream hardcore together was when we first moved, like just daydreaming and kind of manifesting like what our dream house would look like, where we're going to live, and just talking about like what that could look like or could be. And then, you know, now that we're here, it's kind of still surreal. I still pinch myself. Like, we have this amazing setup and this situation that we've made all these small changes to create. But now it's like we were able to daydream another amazing, like, crazy idea. I mean, I think maybe 10 years ago, I would have thought it's insane. Like, there's no way that I could do that. But now it's like anything is possible.
Yeah.
We've been able to kind of take these baby steps in traveling with Lucille, who's, you know, an interest, you know, toddlers. That's a fun age.
It really is.
Very, very fun age. And Lucille's been able to travel a lot. So she's getting a lot of, I don't know, rituals and routines with airplanes and traveling and what that's like. And she's been rocking it. So it's like all of these things we've been doing in our life and kind of leading up to something big like this. It's big to us, at least. And
yeah,
it's been real fun. Like, you know, the Oregon door closed for now, but like that window cracked for another really cool possibility. And yeah, now I'm just starting to like just do more manifesting. I'm like, what does that look like? Where can we go test it out first? And what are some places we can travel to just to see what it would be like to live away for more than a week or, more than 10 days.
Right.
But yeah, that's definitely got us in a very joyous mood lately. Just, I don't know, thinking about that and what that could look like and the possibility. And I'm thinking it's going to happen. Like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Strong possibility.
The timing and, like anything, we're waiting and listening to the universe. And when it happens, it happens. And we're going to be ready to pounce on it. So we're excited for something fun coming up.
Yeah. So, one door closes and a window cracks or whatever. What did Jill say at the beginning?
There's so many different things. Like one door opens, another door
ebb and flow. Yeah.
Closes, another door open. Like there's all these fun quotes about, opportunities and how to have a mindset about it. But yeah, and then speaking about just flowing with Mother Nature, I had an amazing ladies getaway this past Mother's Day weekend in Frederick, Maryland. And I had envisioned and planned like we were going to do all these fun hikes. We were going to walk around town. Like it was a lot of walking, nature. And then the whole weekend was like rain. And I'm like, okay, the universe wants me to go a different direction. Maybe hiking isn't in the cards. Maybe all these strolls that I'm envisioning aren't going to really be the case. So that was another great opportunity for me to pivot. And it kind of led to this really restful, like almost like quote unquote forced to just be still more, just to have more couch time and more coffee chats with my friend Jess. And we had some really deep, soulful conversations because we were more still than moving all the time.
Right.
And we did end up taking a really cool rain walk, which was neat to see because there was a lot of flooding, but it was awesome to see the wildlife come up with all the rainwater. And we saw some just beautiful landmarks in the town. And I don't know, like there's something about just kind of flowing with life instead of going against it that has been really magical. And yeah, that was, and then so I almost forgot too, like that I planned this trip. I didn't even realize it was Mother's Day weekend, but it wasn't a big deal because Nick and I kind of feel like fucking every day's a holiday.
That's
like,
right.
We want to exert that kind of energy with every day. We're able to show up and wake up and be here. So it wasn't a really big deal that it was on Mother's Day weekend, but was kind of like the cherry on top of everything is that when I got to see my mom and my sister on actual Mother's Day, because my mom was watching Lucille and so was Nick. But yeah, I was able to spend the whole day with my sister and her family, and I was able to like help them out. Just like, she's got a new baby coming. They've been doing a lot of work in the house. So I was actually able to be of service to them, which it was so cup filling for me to kind of help them declutter and organize like all the things that I love doing. And I think that I'm good at just kind of streamline some things in their home. Like it was really fun just kind of being there for my sister to support her and to spend all day with them. Like we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with them. And it was really awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a great day. And yeah, dinner was awesome. Tons of steak.
Delicious steak.
Yes, so good.
And something else that was really fun, that when you had your fishing trip, kind of the same weekend.
It was. So the fishing trip started basically Thursday evening. You dropped me off at the Airbnb, and then we got out the next Friday morning we were on the water by 5:15. So it was an early morning, and we lucked out. It was part of that whole rain weekend that Jill was talking about, and we were on the boat, didn't get soaked. It didn't rain until pretty much the last hour or two of the trip, and even at that, it wasn't even heavy rain. It was still very calm out there. But had a good couple days with the crew, doing some fishing, and we got two nice sized trophy rockfish, 145 and 144 inches. So yeah,
that you grilled to perfection.
That we grilled to perfection when we got home. Oh, it was so good.
But yeah, while you were gone, I got some time with Lucille one-on-one, like day and night.
Yeah.
And just savoring those moments with her. And we had a nacho party one night because I know she loves nachos, and she got to help me make them. And she slept in my bed because we had sleepover nights. And we got to watch Mary Poppins, and she's never seen Mary Poppins before. And it was really cathartic for me just watching it, because there's so many things that I saw as a kid but really didn't understand the meaning of. But just listening to the lyrics of like A Spoonful of Sugar, it's really about making the best of a situation and finding the joy in the mundane things. And there's so many cool lessons in that movie as I'm rewatching it with her. And I'm like, oh, this is really fun. So we just had a great movie soaking in each other. And of course we missed you, Papa, but it was fun.
I got the following night, Saturday night, is when I got a chance to be with her as well. And that was a cool night because we had a stake bet night with some friends. So me and my friends, one friend is a Nebraska fan, and me and my other friend are Maryland basketball fans. So we always make a bet against, the spread on that one. And our friend who's a Nebraska fan ended up losing, so he owed us stakes. And of course, we gather the kiddos, and everybody comes over to the house, and so the kids are playing and doing their things. And we also do like this movie quote thing. It's too much to get into, but like basically we quote these movies for a certain period of time, and then when we're done quoting it, we watch it. So Blazing Saddles, which I haven't seen in a long time. Not very kid appropriate, but luckily they were in the other room watching a different movie. I forget which one it was, but it was they were watching Onward, which is a good one. I actually like that one.
Babe, I grew up watching Mel Brooks films. I turned out pretty normal.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, right. But yeah, Blazing Saddles, hilarious movie. Can't make a movie like that these days, but hilarious.
It is.
So no, it was good, and she was the youngest of all the kids there, and kept up, and they just played really. It was one of those crazy situations where the kids were together for 5 hours, and not once was there a kid crying because somebody did somebody or took something from somebody. It was just one of those situations where it's like,
it's worth documenting.
Yeah, I was just amazed, and that was just an awesome thing to see. So, yeah, good stuff.
And something else that I'm excited to announce is that we have a new guest episode coming up. It was such a soulful conversation.
Yeah.
We're kind of holding on to it for a little bit, and then we're going to release it soon. But I'm excited for you guys to hear a new guest episode coming out. And we had some coffee, and we did it during the morning, and it was great because you and Lucille...
It was live and in person.
Yeah. You're right, man. We haven't done a live in-person podcast since Maggie's interview, which was at our new house here. So that was another great thing, is that we do live podcasts all the time with each other, but it's been a minute since we had a guest podcast that was face to face. So it's been nice to kind of like step back into that and maybe get back into doing more of those and traveling. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how the world unfolds and what comes our way. But
that's right.
Yeah, I was really excited for that connection and for you guys to hear her story and journey and all of her life lessons. So it's going to be a good one coming up.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for when that episode's going to come out. We will let you all know. Well, Jilly, I think we've covered everything. We've been ebbing and flowing and learning some lessons, and just wanted to convey it to you folks out there. Do you have any resources for our listeners today?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I found a blog post that was titled Flow versus Force. Bring more peace into your life and body. Are you pushing against life? Do you need things to happen your way or sooner? That may sound harsh, but time and time again, I notice myself doing this. I create expectations of myself, and then I beat myself up when life doesn't turn out as I thought it should. Then I hold myself hostage to that self-imposed expectation instead of being present to what is happening that's real and good right now. If it's not happening, there's a reason. It's not the right time, there's a better way, or your energy isn't aligned. There's nothing wrong with you. You aren't lazy, unproductive, unworthy, or unlucky. In fact, just the opposite. You're resourceful, wise, beautiful, intuitive, powerful, soul-filled, and divine. But it's time to stop pushing. Time to flow down the river instead of holding onto a branch with your legs braced on the rocks. How can you tell the difference? Well, you can feel it in your body. When you are flowing, you feel light, energized, inspired, optimistic, creative, passionate, and peaceful. When you are forcing, you feel tight, heavy, lethargic, unwell, frustrated, resentful, anxious, or impatient. The good news is you can stop pushing anytime. Forcing life is painful and exhausting. Flowing with life is magical and how we were designed to live.
Boom. I like it.
Yeah.
Go with the flow. Just like Queens of the Stone Age. All right, Jilly. And your quote of the day?
Man, I had two. Is it okay if I do two?
I mean, it's your show.
Well, I'll do this more serious one first, then I'll do the funny one second. So this one is by Paulo Coelho. I think I quoted him before. If you're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello. Goodbye, Oregon, for now. Hello, Costa Rica. Maybe.
Or New Orleans.
Or New Orleans. Shout out, Steph. Okay, another quote that I thought was funny is by Brooke Shields. Don't waste a minute not being happy. If one window closes, run to the next window or break down a door.
Break down the goddamn door.
What is that from?
Family Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and your take action challenge is?
Flow versus force.
Yeah. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
It's like the carousel. It goes up and down and around.
Oh, not this one again. I forgot what episode you did this one.
I know. I've done that one. I got to stop going back to that stuff.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Alrighty, folks. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode. Please do us a favor. If you like this episode, help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation. Conversation leads to action. And action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today, and we will see you again next week.
See y'all later.